Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Do I fight or help untie a restless mind that tries to keep it all in? All your life you stepped inside of someone's life that won't let your heart win. So go ahead and make your stand. Get up and throw away your plans. Try to open. Times that you were feeling low, remember that the world still shows you were something. All I want to know from love is how to warm a cold heart. All I want to know from love is how to warm a cold heart. All it takes is yesterday's growing pains to learn what you're missing. You can waste another day in endless ways. It's time to move on. Now it's time to make it change. Find the hope in every stage. You're alright, yeah. 'Cause every little made up thought that doesn't help you move along, oh, you can leave them. All I want to know from love is how to warm a cold heart. All I want to know from love is how to warm a cold heart. All I want to know from love is how to warm a cold heart. All I want to know from love is how to make a new start. Would you take me there, somewhere you know, babe? Would you take me there, somewhere you know, babe?
What's up, everybody? I have the pleasure to welcome Harrison Storm here to Hidden Tracks today. Harrison is a brilliant singer-songwriter from Australia, one of my favorite continents of where music comes from. And we just recently had him on our weekly threes of 3 things we're listening to. So I'm really excited to have him here today to talk. And I get to meet him soon, too, because he is coming to the States. So if you live anywhere in the tri-state area, make sure you get out to New York City to see him, where I'll be. But Harrison, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Very happy to be here.
So let's start with the amazing album of Wonder, Won't You, which recently released, and how awesome and how maybe was there a weight lifted off your shoulders when this finally was all put together into an album and set to go out to the world to judge?
Um, I think the relief has only really come recently since it's been released. This is my first record. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, to be honest. Um, but it's been a long journey. We had a long campaign with a lot of singles, so it feels like it's kind of been a really big part of my life the past few years. But it's felt good and it's feeling good, and I've definitely learned a lot about myself and also releasing music during this time. It's been very interesting.
Well, that is one of the things that I want to hit on because the way of the world nowadays, and sometimes I get caught up where I will sometimes get annoyed by the simple fact, like I'll hear one song from somebody, and then I'll be like, "Oh my god, I want to go listen to more." And then there's only like two other singles out, right? And there's no full, like, composed or comprised section of music, and it's really hard to for an old man like me who grew up with albums of, you know, listening to 12 songs at once and getting to choose. Do you find it, especially being an artist and releasing music, do you find it that you have to kind of juggle the fact of maybe the new way that things are going as opposed to how you grew up listening to music?
Mm, yeah, there's definitely this. I feel like there's options now, and there's choice as an artist. And I guess if you're working with a record label, how you do release music and what your goals are, and I guess the times, have changed since there was only kind of one way to release an album, and that was to just, I don't know, do a few singles and then the album's kind of out there. Um, so yeah, it was definitely a decision that we had to make, how it was going to be released, and thus how it was going to be received um, by the listeners and the fans, and also how I was going to interact with the process of releasing an album. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like the more traditional way of releasing a few singles and then the album comes out, I still think that's probably my preference. I do love, as a listener and as a fan of music, I do love having those few singles to really get you excited for a larger body of work where you can really sink yourself into it and have more of an experience, I think, on your own as a listener. So it was tough to juggle that, actually. I had to consult a lot of friends to kind of feel into what I wanted and what was kind of going to be best for the album and for the songs. And I mean, at the end of the day, you don't really know. Well, it's still, still kind of forming what the results are. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do things differently next time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the results speak for themselves when you have the opportunity nowadays to see, especially when you have followers and then you have downloads and then you have plays and you get that sort of right away, if you're connecting. Where, back in the day, if you sold 10,000 records, everyone's like, that didn't sell really well. To me, I'm like, well, you got it out to 10,000 different people that purchased it and guaranteed they're listening to it with someone else. So it was always that kind of thing where there was a failure if it didn't sell enough. And then nowadays it's like you can get so many different ways to figure out of whether or not you're reaching a bigger audience, right? Because everyone's got to pay for their own streaming platforms and everyone's got, and then there's no sharing of passwords anymore and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of get to figure out exactly how you're reaching people. And I mean, everyone that I've played the album for, I know immediately went and started downloading everything they could from you. And that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, it still happens. So those
Mhm.
numbers it just matters on who's listening to it, not how many people are listening to it.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I mean, you can read kind of comments and count streams and all these sort of things, all these metrics, I guess, that we have now for um, assessing a way that a song or an album is received. But I still think the best way that you can kind of tell if it's connected is when you're either, probably playing a live show and seeing how these songs are received live once the album's out. If there's more of a connection than others, I'm really excited for that fact. With some of my own shows coming up, playing some songs from the album. Yeah, it's been funny. I've been rehearsing at the moment, just before I get on the road, and yeah, I'm really excited actually to be playing a bunch of songs off the record, just to see how they're going to be received, and how people have been connecting with them in that way.
You'll know immediately when someone closes their eyes and starts singing it at the top of the lungs for you.
Hopefully.
Now, in your life, when did music become this kind of stranglehold on your life? And it's a good stranglehold. I mean, I've had it since I was 6 years old, and when I heard something that just made me want to find out more about music. Do you remember when you were growing up, what it was that brought you to music?
What was it that brought me to music? I mean, I had my mother growing up. She had this really beautiful old guitar that was kind of laying around the house, and she used to play. She used to write her own songs as a hobby, and I always kind of felt like it was this magical thing that my mum did. And it was really beautiful to see her just kind of create something out of nothing. And it was a way of bonding, I guess. I didn't have a guitar of my own, but I would borrow hers, and she had these half-written songs and these kind of beautiful, finger-picked guitar progressions and little riffs, and I used to finish them for her and write vocal melodies over the top of them, and then play them to her. And it was this really sweet interaction, I guess.
How old were you when you were doing that?
I mean, probably around 10 years old, maybe 10 to 12 years old.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, she obviously could tell that I was very, very interested in the guitar. So I remember getting my first guitar when I was around that age as well, and getting guitar lessons. And it was interesting though, because I used to get guitar lessons and it was after school, and I always felt like I was going to school after school, and it kind of sucked.
I've had those conversations, and recently it's really weird. Show's almost in existence for 5 years now, and it's just starting to come up that it's I remember that too. The guitar lessons it was work when you're a kid and you're trying to figure everything out. You just wanted to learn how to play a song that your favorite band played, and it was usually power chords. But you're going to learn classical stuff, so it's just really weird how that pops up so fast like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but you look back on it now. I feel like the rhetoric of as you kind of get older, you look back on the lessons that your parents taught you, and how much you used to kind of moan and groan about things, but you find yourself, those things that they taught you, you start, that's the way that you live now. And there's almost a gratitude towards this, whereas at the time it was a lot of pain and reluctancy, I guess, to pursue them or to go through them. But yeah, I definitely remember, for me, guitar definitely felt like a chore, but there was this challenge in it, and this curiosity to, I don't know, to kind of master something, or just to understand it. I remember one of the first songs that I really used to love playing, and I could kind of play it from start to finish, and I was really proud of it, was a song called Classical Gas. It's like a very classic song, that like finger picking song that you learn. And yeah, there was something really fun about the challenge of, staying in time and making all the progressions kind of sound great. And yeah, I don't know, but I think that kind of pushed me onto the path of being really curious about music and the origins of why an artist wrote a song. And I really started to listen to singer-songwriters then as well. And it was a really beautiful time, actually.
Who's one that stands out to you that was just like an influence, a big influence on you to create music?
I mean, my dad used to play a lot of Neil Young growing up. And it was funny, I never really used to like his voice. I didn't think it sounded good. But
You and 50 million other people, but he just still knew how to rock.
Yeah, oh, totally. I mean, I love that guy. But it's funny, because I feel like maybe it's common to, I mean, maybe for the average kind of music listener is to listen to something because it sounds good. But my curiosity with Neil Young wasn't because I really liked his voice, but it was in the kind of spirit of the way that he sung and in his lyrics. And that was a real curiosity for me to find out why, like, who is this man and why is he singing about these things? And the stories behind his songs was something that, yeah, I mean, I'll always remember, those kind of late night drive from somewhere during the day where we'd be spending together as a family, and we'd be coming home, and the kids would be falling asleep in the back, and the Neil Young song "Old Man" would be kind of playing in the car as we'd be drifting off, and it was always just this funny memory of, yeah, really feeling at home and peaceful, I guess, around this man's expression with his funny voice.
Yeah, finding a comfort level with something that's unique. And that's one thing that, Neil Young was. He was unique. He had a unique voice, and it took more than just ears to listen to,
that's true.
Neil Young, and I can understand that. But I do think that is what's beautiful and powerful about music, is that you don't have to be have the most beautiful voice or be the most technically sound or to, be the best at whatever it is you're doing to make something beautiful and connect with people. So when it comes to finding things that are different and you get to hold on and attach yourself to, other than Neil Young, do you remember like an artist that you found on your own that you were just amazed that someone could create such beauty, and then you just had to go out and share it with everybody else that you knew?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few artists that, once I had my little, what do you call them? The Discman or the Walkman, the little CD. Yeah. I remember, so I had a few CDs. I actually don't know how I got them. I can't remember how I got them, but there's an Australian artist, Pete Murray, that I really used to love. Another Canadian artist, City and Colour, Dallas Green. I think he was probably one of the artists that I remember. I know my parents didn't listen to that. Maybe I downloaded that on an iPod or something. But I remember quite vividly, actually, the bus rides home from school as a teenager, having my kind of headphones on and listening to Dallas Green sing about, things from his heart that felt like, I knew that none of my friends were listening to him. But there was just something so kind of raw and emotional about his songwriting that I wasn't kind of experiencing that sort of feeling from anywhere else in my life. Um, and, made more so obvious because of maybe the culture that I was existing in at the time, which was largely around sport, a lot of masculine energy, um, not talking about the things that Dallas Green was singing about. So I think he was someone that really piqued my curiosity and pushed me in a way to start expressing myself in that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big influence on me in my teenage years.
When you started to play music and start to figure this out and start to feel a certain way, did you seek out other people, like-minded people, to try and create music together, or has this always been just something, that you're interested in doing on your own?
I mean, I think I was kind of fortunate that I had a few friends that uh, also were interested in music and playing the guitar. But it was, for me, our connection and the way that we, kind of just jammed at home. It felt, looking back on it, it felt like it was more superficial. And, we weren't having the conversations around the meaning of the songs and stuff like that. We were
Yeah.
teenagers.
Did you come up with a band name with those guys?
No, it was more, we just used to hang out and, just kind of make noise, really. We just used to, someone would play rhythm guitar and the other, if there was some fun solos, we'd try and learn the solos. And, yeah, it was never really like we didn't create together. That was always something that I just did by myself. It was kind of hidden, I guess, from everyone else, apart from maybe my family members. And even then, I was still very self-conscious. I hated people. I hated my family, like, hearing me play. I was just, it's kind of funny looking back on it. It felt, just being in my bedroom and writing music and singing. I felt so vulnerable, and I hated people seeing me in that way. I felt very embarrassed, actually, which is kind of sad looking back on it. But yeah, there was never any collaboration with my friends. It was always a kind of solo journey I took in terms of writing.
How, what was it that gave you that push to then finally open yourself up and say, okay, if this means so much to me, how do I get it in front of people? Like, what was that little push? If you were feeling so vulnerable and scared to be around and play even in front of your family, like, what was it what gave you that little push off the ledge to say, okay, I need to share what I'm feeling with other people?
Yeah, I mean, I had a few really lovely interactions with some girlfriends in my kind of later teenage years. I used to, just maybe, I think I just got to a point where, I'd be writing. It sounds so cliche and stereotypical, I guess. But, just sharing music with my girlfriends and the songs that I'd kind of write about them, maybe, and having like a positive reaction, I guess, something really simple as that. And just, I mean, over the years of that happening every now and then, I kind of had this little belief that maybe they were okay, and that they sounded okay, and that maybe my voice sounded okay, and that the songs were semi-meaningful or something like that. And it was, and I just had a lot of pride in being able to create something on my own. But yeah, I mean, I slowly started to perform in front of like my trusted friends and because I had like little demos that I used to make. And I think friends got a hold of them. I must have sent them to a friend or something. And we were kind of at a gathering one afternoon, and one of my friends was obviously a little bit proud of this song that I'd written, and they played it on the speaker in front of in front of my friends, and it got a really nice reaction. And I guess growing up, I always felt quite. I had, looking back on it now, I had a lot of social anxiety, and I always felt like a little bit of an outsider in amongst kind of group settings. So to have people kind of see me, I guess, felt really beautiful, and I felt kind of accepted and connected with these other people. And music was the thing that did that. So yeah, I guess that kind of pushed me along the path of feeling okay to share how I am feeling, and that it is okay to share that. And people can see you, and people see each other when we express ourselves through art and through song. And that was a really beautiful experience.
Now, when was your step to playing in front of strangers for the first time? Do you remember that moment? If this is this large buildup and you're taking these steps to kind of understand that you're accepted and your music is accepted, when was the first time you played in front of strangers, and will you ever forget that feeling, or have you already forgot it?
I'll never forget it. It is etched into my soul. um, I was, I mean, the kind of the biggest thing that I did as a teenager was a good friend of. There was this. I think it was in the final year of school, and I would have been maybe 17 years old or maybe 18 by then. And my school had this, it was called, it was like a singing competition essentially. And a few of my friends kind of recommended or suggested kind of as a joke that I should get up and sing a song. And I was like, no way, that's a stupid idea. And I don't know how I came about it, thinking that I would actually do it. But well, I do know. I had a friend. I had this guy who I'd been friends with throughout my teenage years, and he was always really supportive of my music and just music in general. We used to jam together, and we got together and learned. We played a cover, but we'd kind of practice this cover for a few weeks before jumping up on stage, and it was in front of the entire school, and no one. Well, like a lot of people just didn't know that I played music. And yeah, we got up, and
it's also the number one place to get judged and shit on immediately.
I know, it's pretty crazy just like thinking back that I just walked into that. I remember like the moments before going on stage, I felt like I was going to throw up. I was ill. Like I was so nervous. But yeah, anyway, got up there and sung, and I think just in the nature of the way that and the music that I listened to, it was just an emotional and raw performance, and people connected with it. And I ended up, winning the competition, and I think it was like,
of course you did. Of course you did.
It was like the prize was like a $30 iTunes voucher or something like that, and like a Mars bar. But I felt so much pride just kind of just showing myself to people, no matter how terrifying it was. There was this real sense of achievement and real sense of connection, and really beautiful sense of being seen by people for doing something that was really vulnerable for me.
Well, I think that's where sometimes artists take it for granted when it comes to creating music, and the fact that it's so simple and so easy to just click next, and people, it takes a lot, because you're a lot of the times, and I would say a majority of creators and musicians, it's their heart and soul that they're pouring into something. They're not just writing a song to write a song. Like, yes, there are some songs that I'm like, oh, these words don't go together and they don't mean anything, but whatever. But there is you can tell, and especially listening to your album, you can tell like you are I don't think you could be any more vulnerable than how you are when you come across with your music. So is that now easier for you or harder to let yourself give your vulnerability out to the world to listen to?
Um, I mean, yeah, now it's become, second nature. There's, it's funny, like when I am writing and when I am feeling like I need to write and express myself, there is this point that I can feel where I know that I can kind of get to that next level, that deeper vulnerability. Like that's always there. I know that I can express that, but I think there is a choice that I have to make now where I have to decide whether that going to that really vulnerable place and that place that maybe feels uncomfortable for me to express, is that for me to experience, or is that something that I need to share with people? So I think, when I am writing now, I'm kind of dictated by this sense of, I don't know. It's like my
I think it's a
vulnerability.
responsibility. Your vulnerability is a responsibility to help other people and connect.
Uh, Not necessarily a responsibility. It's just this. I feel like this kind of equilibrium when I do write something, and when I am in the process of writing something that feels like I need to express, when the melody and the lyrics and the way that I sing kind of, when they all fit together, and I'm expressing myself in this kind of purity, I guess, there is this like peacefulness that kind of resides over me, where that whatever needs to be expressed is out. And yeah, I don't know, it's like my system kind of relaxes and it's really nice. And I know that now when I am writing, it's kind of like a compass. I'm trying to find that sweet spot with the with my vulnerability and with my expression. And I get, after spending an hour or two writing a song, I get to kind of hold this song and listen back to it. And yeah, I mean, that decision, then I have this thing, I'm like, is this something that I want to show other people, or is this just something that I needed to get out of my system for myself? And I think, as I've written more and more songs, I think that place of vulnerability I'm becoming far more accepting of the fact that I can share deeper and deeper things with people, and it feels okay. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I'm still always trying to understand about my writing process. But yeah, it's funny. Like on the flip side, I do know that now when I am writing and doesn't hit that spot, it just feels really bad. It doesn't feel nice. I get to the end of like a writing session and I'm like, I just feel kind of gross, and like I can just feel all this energy still in my body. And that's when I know that, maybe I need to go and do something else and kind of come back to things later on.
Yeah, because it's got to be hard to make that choice and to kind of figure out when you hit that sweet spot. With a lot of things, when you hit a sweet spot, you kind of notice immediately. But when you're searching for it, it is, again, sometimes you just got to get up and walk out.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, when you're creating stuff and you're putting this out into the world, this is a question that will probably be during our conversation. I think I kind of have a sense of the type of human being you are. So this is always hard when it comes down to judging yourself. But if you only had one opportunity to connect with someone with one of your songs, what song of yours would you play for that person?
Wow, that's a really tough question. That's a good question. Oh my, oh. Um, it's, I mean, overall, I feel like I'd have a choice, but then I feel like I'd have a different choice in the present day as I would have in the past, of course. But I mean, there's this song of mine called "Change It All."
Take it from me, all of what I know. Lay there beside me and show your warmth. It's hard to find peace, buried in so deep. I can only hear the world is shouting. All I see is how I could change it all. Find my peace, love I feel. It's time to fall for a new day. Oh, from silence to a new state of mind. Heard a whisper, something said so sweet, not quite as ever. We'll leave this scene. Show no fear, things we can't control. Hoping that you see how great that feels. All I see is how I could change it all. Find my peace, love I feel. It's time to fall for a new day. Oh, from silence to a new state of mind. All I see is how I could change it all. Find my peace, love I feel. It's time to fall for a new day. Oh, from silence to a new state of mind.
And it's really about shifting your perspective on yourself and on the world, and I guess trying to remain open to the world, which is what I feel like my job is now. Every day I wake up, it's trying to stay open to the world so I can let things kind of flow through me. So I feel like that song would be a nice introduction for someone to maybe see how I kind of view things.
Nice. Now, would you categorize that possibly as the same thing as your favorite song you've ever composed and put out for people to hear, or would you have a completely different answer to what's your favorite song that you've ever created?
My favorite song. Yeah, no, I think that song would be up there. Yeah, I feel like we hit, we hit a really nice spot just in the sound of that song, production wise. I feel like it really matches my memory of writing it and what I was feeling at the time. I'm really proud of that song, and I think I'll always be proud of it as well. So yeah, I think that song's probably up there.
Listen, I love that the song you'd share with people is also your favorite song, because a lot of people have had different answers to that question, but sticking to your guns on that. How about the first time you ever saw a live concert? Do you remember who it was?
A live concert. Yeah, I think it was. Actually, I think it might have been Pete Murray, who's an Australian artist. He played locally at a like a little festival. I actually have a very embarrassing memory from that gig. I would have been quite young, maybe 13 or 14, and I was Pete Murray at that point. He was like my idol. I loved him so much, and I ran straight up the front. I was right up the front of the stage. Yeah, just before the stage, and I remember he kind of came over, and it's actually it's kind of sweet and innocent, but it was just kind of surreal just to see this person that I'd been listening to a lot in the flesh, as it always is. And I remember just like my body I just reached out to him with my hand. Like I just wanted to like almost prove that he was real by touching him. I really remember that, and I remember like as I kind of noticed my hand coming out, I like retracted it because I'm like, what? Like I felt embarrassed. It was just like all this adoration was just kind of making my body move towards him. It was very funny. But I remember feeling, me and my best friend, we went to that festival with our families, and yeah, we were so excited. It was really beautiful.
That's that moment where you realize he is real, and you want to touch, but at the same time, is this wrong? Like you painted such a vivid picture of exactly. I just saw a 12-year-old kid up against a rail looking at someone he admired. Like it was a beautiful picture to paint, and also very funny at the same time.
Exactly, and I totally understand. Like, I feel like now it's a little bit different. Now that music is my career, but when you see when you see footage of fans absolutely losing their minds at shows with their favorite artists and screaming, when girls are like being hysterical and just screaming, like I totally get it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like that. It makes so much sense to me.
I do. Listen, I still, in my elder years now, when I go to a show and I get to see someone who I admire a lot, and I've had a lot of people on the show that I've admired for a long time and gotten to see, but I still get that nervous energy and excitement and how's this going to go, and like when I'm really close to them, it's always. It doesn't go away. It's almost like it doesn't matter how old you are, how many times you've done it. It's like, oh, this is real. Like this is really happening. And then they start playing a song, and then you get goosebumps, and you're like, yes, this is it. This is what I'm hoping for.
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Is there any time you went and saw someone else play music, and maybe it made you rethink if you were going to be able to do this
in a way that seemed unattainable? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
like you just like you knew you wanted to create music, and you went and saw someone perform, and you were like, I don't know if I can do this.
Oh, that's interesting. Not really, actually. I feel like every show that I've ever been to has always had the opposite effect. It's always made me really strive, I guess, and has made me want to work harder, actually.
That's great. No,
Yeah.
that's amazing to hear that, because that is, and I'm not searching to hear you say, yeah, like, but I mean, there have been moments where I've seen people just be like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Do you just see who's playing before me? I can't go out. Like,
Mm.
and it just makes them doubt themselves a little bit. So the fact that you can use it to say, all right, I'm going to get better because of this. It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always, it's it's different, obviously, when maybe you're having to like share a bill with someone and then someone amazing, is playing after you that's like a completely, different energy to you, or like has a way more energy or is more engaging or something like that, then yeah, that's definitely terrifying. But I think as like a creator, going to shows has always been something very positive for me.
In your life, who do you turn to, and seek out? For me, it's I have a couple artists who just like never let me down. When I know that when I need something, I can always turn to their music, whether I'm in a good mood, bad mood, sad mood, doesn't matter. Like, I always lean on a certain, like, I have two or three bands that I always go to when I'm like, I don't know what I want to listen to, but I constantly go to them. Do you have uh, you know music like that in your life, or an artist who you constantly turn to and never lets you down?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's I've always been, and I, I think I always will be, a massive Ben Howard fan. Um, he's an artist for me that's yeah, I mean, almost pinnacle artist, someone that I just admire so much for so many reasons. You know, obviously from an artistic perspective, but I think just the way that he's kind of, his career as well is also very inspiring for me. And so yeah, I mean, whenever I feel like, we are obviously so inundated with music at the moment, and there's always like artists kind of popping off, and there's, songs kind of trending on TikTok, and you just, I don't know, my ears are just, I'm always listening to music, and I'm always listening to new music and seeing what kind of resonates with me. But yeah, I mean, my bedrock is, there's like a bunch of artists that are like my bedrock, and I'll go back to those artists when I feel like I need to reconnect to maybe the essence of why I write music. And I mean, it's, I feel like I also go through waves of, because there's like this collection that I have, and yeah, I mean, I go to each of them for different reasons and for different time periods. At the moment, yeah, I mean, Ben Howard's always one that I'll always turn to, and Icelandic artist Asgeir at the moment is someone, he released an album a few years ago that I've it's I listened to it back to front, the record, and it's so beautiful, and it's so calming, and it just, yeah, and it's so real, and it just makes me, feel at peace. There's an album by Gregory Alan Isakov,
Yeah.
Evening Machines, is another one that I'll listen to that, and it'll remind me of why I write music. And yeah, there's like another artist, I think he's Canadian, Luca Fagali. He released a beautiful album. I mean, he's only kind of like a young artist, but in terms of like a contemporary artist, yeah, his record is just so beautiful and so real that, yeah, I mean, I've definitely turned to that a lot over the past few years as well.
Nice. So I cannot wait for you to hear how I described you when someone asked me
Hmm.
on a recent show, because your album was on my weekly threes, is something that I was just crushing and listening to over and over again.
Oh,
And
thank you.
my comparison when they said, well, what does it sound like? Because everybody has to throw that out. And I go, take Ben Howard, mix it with Bon Iver, and sprinkle a little bit of War on Drugs on top of it. I go, and that's him.
Ooh. Oh,
And
wow.
and they were like, okay, well, I'm going to listen to that immediately. And I'm like, yeah. So when you said Ben Howard, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, that's exactly how I put it. I was like, that's I nailed it. Then if he loves him, then I know he's pulling some inspiration from there. I'm like, I nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to show how close attention that you pay. That's that's really cool. I like that. That's yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard when you're so influenced by certain artists, you know, definitely Bon Iver as well. He's another artist that I will always turn to. He's in the bedrock. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that these artists, you know, you can hear them for sure, but that's really cool.
Yeah, no, it was, as soon as you said I'm sitting back in my chair and I got a big smile on my face because I just recorded yesterday and the show's coming out and I was like, oh, this is what he sounds like. And as soon as you said Ben Howard, like, I fucking nailed it, like doing a fist pump. I'm like, yes.
That's perfect.
All right, so one final hard question. Meteor's going to crash into the earth. We're all going to die in 5 minutes, and you have to listen to one song.
Oh.
What song are you listening to?
One song to rule them all. Oh my gosh, that is such a hard question, but I think I know the answer. There is this Ben Howard song called Conrad from his I Forget Where We Were record, and it's kind of fitting actually. There's this he talks about having this perspective of the earth actually almost from space, which is funny. And yeah, I mean, it really, for me, that song, you know, who knows what, Ben Howard's one of those artists where you're not really, sometimes his songs are, the meaning of them is quite ambiguous, which I love. But the sense that I get from it is like this really zoomed out perspective on life and living on earth. And it really makes me forget about my day-to-day worries and kind of resets me in a way that is really freeing. So I feel like, yeah, and it's also kind of starts out with this beautiful, soft electric guitar riff. And I guess it's kind of classic Ben Howard. It kind of builds up into this little bit more of an intense instrumental towards the end. And it's just like, yeah, this really beautiful journey. And I feel like I could listen to that song on repeat forever if I had to make the choice.
Yeah, great way to go out. Is there any style of music that you listen to that people would be like really surprised? Like, you know, do you listen to disco in your bedroom with headphones on? Are you into K-pop? Like, is there anything that people were really surprised that, you know, someone like you who creates beautiful music listens to?
I mean, probably nothing out of the ordinary. I think I listen to like a lot of like pop leaning music, but not like music from the charts. I think it's just I mean, I listen to some electronic kind of dance music, I guess.
Okay.
That's kind of got that more yeah, I mean, I show some friends, I'm like, oh, I really like this song. And they'll be like, I do not like that song at all. And I'm like, okay, this is just for me. That's okay. Yeah, I think I've learned to be a little bit more selective on who and what music I share to friends now, because you know, obviously music's such a personal thing. And yeah, I mean, my Spotify Wrapped was was
Unique?
a lot more, yeah, maybe not unique. It was probably just a lot more beige than I thought it was going to be. I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, you know, I'm not like a hardcore trying to like find like really obscure like blues records from like the 40s or something like that. Yeah, I listen to. I just listen if I like a song.
And a
I'll
lot of
just
people
listen
that
to it.
do that just do it so they say they did it.
That's
You know,
true. Yeah,
you know.
I mean,
I
yeah,
I think there are people who do, seek that stuff out. I seek out crazy shit, but at the same time, I'm not going to share it with everybody and tell people
mm,
about it.
yeah,
But
that's true.
it's
Yeah, and power to them. It's I definitely have some of those friends as well, and yeah, I'm like, what is this music? Like, what planet is it from? It's so interesting, and I
it's
love
yeah.
that.
It's funny. I have people, and I'll say that I'm like, "What is going?" They're like, "Oh, it's a French African German band," and I'm like, "I okay. So, how the fuck did you find that?"
Yeah, that's so true. People just have this amazing ability to find music, and I feel like I don't really have that much patience. I feel like if a song lands in my ears that's I enjoy, then I'm the sort of person that I will be obsessed with one song until it is absolutely listened to death,
Until you ruin it for yourself.
and yeah, almost, yeah, I guess so. Almost, I feel like I'm a little bit obsessive like that. Um, yeah, which kind of sucks, but yeah, I mean, if I really love a song, like I really, really love it.
Yeah, I played out like my favorite song over the summer. Like it was like I always have like a seasonal song or a seasonal band that just like rides me for the seasons. 4 seasons I have here in Northeast North America, and it's just like at the end of the summer I was like, I can't ever hear that album again. But I will like 5 years from now and be like, oh, I forgot
Yeah,
how awesome it was, but it's like I can't do it anymore.
that's so true. Yeah, and you get all you need from it, and then you leave it to go, and then you try and find the next thing to fill the void.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, thank you. You gave me enough. I'm done with you. And you move on.
Yeah,
Like some relationships in life. But
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's
yeah.
true. Actually, it's an interesting point. Yeah.
Well, Harrison, listen, I don't want to keep you here forever. I'm really looking forward to meeting you at your show in New York City, which I will be at. So I'm really excited for that coming
Awesome.
up at the end of April. But so to give us some more to talk about, and I get to see you perform live, and then I get to stare and point and judge you, make you feel a little uncomfortable in New York City.
I'm ready for
it. Yeah. But we're going to move on to our final segment. It is our weekly threes. It's where I just told you how I described you. Your album was in my weekly threes recently, and how I described you was kind of perfect. But now you tell me 3 things that you're listening to that you would like people to listen to as well, and then I give my 3 for this episode.
Oh, what am I listening to at the moment? Oh, it's funny. I've been writing a lot of music lately, and when I am writing music, I listen to less music of other artists, and I just kind of
that.
I obsess a little bit over my own stuff. But yeah. Oh, it's kind of weird actually. I feel like the past few weeks, I love listening to music when I'm driving. That's when I kind of really listen to music. I mean, oh, what have I been listening? Actually, no. There's this one thing I've been listening to a lot. It's actually from one of my best friends, Hayden Kellnan. He released this beautiful album, and it's got this song on it called Good Things Will Come Round. And there is a YouTube video from a gig that he played last year, and it's this live version of that song. And I highly recommend that you go and check it out.
I don't need to. I've already checked it out.
Yeah?
Hayden's also been on the show. So
No way! Oh my
really,
gosh! But this live video in particular, it's got like these dances in it, and it's just it's so beautiful. It's really inspiring actually. So I've been listening to that and kind of watching that. And then I've also been listening to, I feel like there's that Ben Howard song I've been loving, Days of Lanterna. I've been loving that. And then what else have I been listening to? Oh, there's this song that's kind of been going. Oh, actually, no. This song here, I've just got up my Spotify really quickly. I apologize. There's this song by an artist called Duskus, and it's called "Let Go," and it's like it's like a little bit of a dancey feel to it. And yeah, I mean, I've literally had that on repeat.
All right. Yeah, you said you like dancey music, so
Yeah, so that's kind of been on repeat as well.
nice. Good 3. All right. So my turn for my 3 this week. My first one is Tim House. You may know him because he has a famous brother, Dave House, but he just released a solo album, and the name of it, fittingly enough, is Tim in capital letters. Just brilliant singer-songwriter stuff. Glad to see him coming to the forefront and kind of coming into his own. It's just a beautiful album, and I'm really happy that it's out and people get to hear it.
It's amazing.
Next is a female artist by the name of Kaylee Goldsworthy. Just a beautiful, it's got some pop sensibilities. So if you like to have a little pop to your music there, Harrison, she's got it. The name of the album is Learning to Be Happy.
Okay.
And last but not least is I guess artist, but also band, because everybody has a moniker, goes under something, but the name of it is Same Side. And the name of the album is Oh No.
Same Side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the 3 things I've been listening to this week.
All right. I've just saved this album to my Spotify so I can listen to it later. So thanks for that.
You're welcome. But Harrison, thank you so much for being here today. I know it's extremely early where you are. We are worlds away, and pretty soon we will be only feet away in a couple of months. So I'm really excited for that. But first and foremost, I truly want to thank you for creating the album that you did and letting your vulnerability out to the world and giving me something to own of yours, because without it, I don't know how to get through my day without music, and being able to find an artist such as yourself and to talk to you and have a great time. Like I truly mean it and say thank you so much for everything you've done for me. And it's really been for my ears and my heart, but it means a lot. And we really are looking forward to some awesome stuff happening for you.
Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. That's made my morning. I really do appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome. Everybody out there in the world, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Harrison Storm, and have a great fucking time.
Yes.
Daylight sun always tries to make its way to you. Over there you run silently, of course you do. Don't hide away, too far away now. I'm gonna miss you this time too. Won't say nothing at all, darling. I'll believe the words that you said to me. I'll believe you endlessly. When there's nowhere to go, darling, I won't leave the word that you said you need. I'll believe you endlessly. Poking fun at the way we rushed with our open hearts. We didn't get too much. What were we supposed to do? We couldn't wait for what we said then. I'm gonna miss you each day through. Won't say nothing at all, darling. I'll believe the words that you said to me. I'll believe you endlessly. When there's nowhere to go, darling, I won't leave the word that you said you need. I'll believe you darling. I'll believe the words that you said to me. I'll believe you endlessly. When there's nowhere to go, darling, I won't leave the word that you said you need. I'll believe you endlessly. I'll believe you endlessly. Daylight sun always tries to make its way to you.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.